welcome back to our channel. I'm Pallavi Sehgal, and in today's video, what I really wanted to discuss with you was one of the posts that I posted in the morning, and it was about how LVMH and Chanel have been diversifying, and how LVMH and Chanel are also trying to get into sponsorships and brand partnerships into uh, segments other than just luxury. So let me share my screen and let's proceed from there. So here are a couple of the latest news about LVMH. If you see, one of the things that I wanted to share with you was that LVMH and Chanel both have expanded brand reach through their sports sponsorships. Both have done different sponsorships, but then that is how they're proceeding further. If you go down, this is going to be about more about LVMH news. It recently the results came out, and it was seen that LVMH has encountered a dip in sales amidst the economic challenges that it has been facing. Then, with respect to the sponsorships, we also saw that LVMH has secured a decade-long global sponsorship with Formula One. Similarly, it acquired a non-alcoholic sparkling wine by the acquisition in French Bloom. It sold its stake in Off-White. It strategically partnered with Remo Ruffini to expand its stake in Moncler. What happened was that this was a partnership that benefited both the parties. It gave Remo Ruffini an opportunity to increase his stake in Moncler to 18.5%, and at the same time, LVMH also was able to acquire 10% stake in Remo Ruffini's investment vehicle, that is Double R, and it also has the opportunity to take its stake from 10% to 22%. When we are talking about Chanel, Chanel did an investment in MB&F, which is basically a luxury watch manufacturer, and Chanel does not have its own watch segment on the whole. It has been doing acquisitions within the luxury watch industry and acquiring stakes in different makers of the luxury watch industry. We'll do a deep dive into this in one of the further videos, but for now, let's just focus on how LVMH and Chanel have been trying to diversify themselves from the luxury industry, the core luxury apparel industry, and that's what we are talking about. Then we had, um, in both the terms, when we are talking about LVMH or when we are talking about Chanel also, they do acquisitions either through their group, which is LVMH or Chanel, or they do it through, in terms of LVMH, it also does it through its private equity arm, that is L Catterton, and LVMH and Chanel both do it through their family offices also. Now, L Catterton, which is LVMH's private equity arm, it acquired a stake in Value Retail, which basically owns Bicester Collection, which is a marketplace for off-price luxury shops. Similarly, we had LVMH doing an acquisition in hospitality sector also. And then both LVMH and Chanel have been trying to expand into high jewelry. And what we have seen over the last couple of months is both LVMH and Chanel have tried to come up with their high jewelry collections. LVMH, through its investment arm, through its private equity arm of L Catterton, also did help Tod's Group go private. That is, basically, it helps Tod's Group delist, and this was done through Al Catterton on behalf of LVMH. Similarly, what we have been seeing is that there is going to be an economic downturn. The industry saw huge growths of 8% to 10% in the last couple of years, especially during the pandemic. Now it has tempered down to single digits, which was in 2024, it was expected that the luxury industry is going to grow at 8%. Now it is down to approximately 3 to 4%. And I think by the end of the year, we might have an estimate somewhere around 3%. So that is what we wanted to share with you. And I want to stop sharing, and I wanted to also share with you, specifically with respect to Chanel, how Chanel has been doing its acquisitions. So Again, because it's on my website and it's the tag Chanel, it starts with LVMH and Chanel are expanding into sports sponsorships. But Chanel, through its family office, also invested in the Row, which is basically the Olsen twins brand, and it valued the Row at approximately 1 billion. And if I am not mistaken, the investment was approximately around 400 to 500 million, which both Chanel as well as L'Oreal Air did. This we have discussed with you before, that Chanel invested into MB&F, the luxury watchmaking arm, for diversifying itself into more categories than just the handbags and apparel. When you talk about Richemont, Richemont is much more secure in these terms because Richemont does not depend just on handbags and apparel and logoed items for its growth. It has a strong presence in hard luxury, and because of its strong presence in hard luxury through its brands like Cartier and all the watch brands, for example, it's Vacheron Constantin, it's Panerai, it is JLC. So it has much more diversified. So you are seeing less news of diversification from Richemont and more news of diversification from brands like LVMH and Chanel. What we also wanted to share with you was that the strategies that are being undertaken by Kering, by LVMH, and by Chanel are very different from the strategies that are being undertaken by brands which are known as core luxury brands, which are actually doing very well. For example, Bruno Cucinelli. Bruno Cucinelli came up with better results than actually LVMH also. Similarly, within this week and the next week put forward, we'll see the results of a lot of groups and a lot of brands, and we'll see where Hermes stands in terms of the economic downturns that is happening. And we'll do a further video wherein we do an analysis of all the financial results of all the brands that are releasing the results within these 2 to 3 weeks. But that will give us perspective in terms of how core luxury brands like Hermes and Bruno Cucinelli are faring, and how brands and groups like LVMH and Chanel are faring. And then we'll do a deep dive into how Richemont also fares in terms of this economic downturn. So that's all that I wanted to share with you in this video. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Do stay tuned in for more. Thank you.